Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 119 of the Everything Moto Racing podcast. I hope you've had a great week as always. I'm here with Lauren again. Hello.
Hello everyone. After telling everyone that I wasn't going to be on the podcast until Christmas, this has aged quite badly because now Cameron has been busy and I have had to be here on the podcast every week. So sorry to disappoint everyone who wants to listen to Cameron instead of me, but
I don't know why anyone wants to listen to that. But
just in case there might be one.
Yeah, somebody out there.
Person. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had I was going to say like a good race weekend, but the race was the race was a race. It was a race.
Yeah, it happened.
It did happen, yeah.
It wasn't groundbreaking, but
no, it really wasn't, was it? I mean, I guess the big points are that Bagnaia beat Martin and Enea Bastianini.
The beast is back.
Yeah. I mean, this is a thing I was thinking about, which is dangerous, as we know. We don't like me thinking because it is a bit of a scary thing to do. But I was thinking, not Bagnaia, what's his name? Bastianini. There we go. Finally. It's because I'm doing the predictions on the other screen and just typed out Bagnaia, so my brain went,
I think you need to stop multitasking here because Declan has not.
I'm a man. We can't multitask.
Yeah, he hasn't done the predictions from last week, so he hasn't got our numbers tallied up right. So he said before we started recording, I'm going to try and do that at the same time. So maybe just stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
And make your point. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bagnaia.
No.
Right, point. Here we go. Right, point. Ignore the screen. Right, okay. So, my point is that second Ducati seat is a bit cursed, I think. And so, we saw Enea Bastianini win a race, which is great. He won 3 races last year, which is fantastic. We're going to Qatar, which is also a great circuit for him this weekend. So, I'm hoping for some continued progress. But it always seemed like the second Ducati factory rider got a few wins, but nowhere near the scope of the coveted number 1 rider in the team. We saw it with Jack Miller. He got, I think, 2 wins and then 1 win last year, whereas Bagnaia was winning 5, 6, 7 races and it was nowhere near. Bastianini has done the same, where he's won 1 race this year, and that's it. I know he's been injured and missed the first part of the season. It wasn't his fault. And then he got injured again at Catalonia. But in the spaces between that where he was kind of fit and healthy, he wasn't anywhere near the front. Whereas last year he was. And so I'm just wondering if that's a trend, basically.
Well, I think last year the one thing that we did talk about with him as a weakness was his inconsistency. Because he really could have been in the title fight last year if he'd been able to string together some more decent results, some more podiums and top 5 finishes, whereas I don't think we really saw that from him. I think this year we can pretty much just write it off in terms of injury. Very similar to Alex Rins. Both riders have had a win now, but have been nowhere the rest of the time because they've been injured. A few results here and there and a win each, and it's sort of just like, I don't know, it's opened the door for a lot of rumours regarding Jorge Martin and maybe doing some sort of switch if Martin is to win the championship this year, basically because Ducati don't want a number 1 being run on a satellite bike. Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Which is fair.
But in the same way, it's like the whole contract thing, like, Enea deserves that seat because he's earned it. And then I'm not saying that Martin doesn't deserve that seat and he hasn't earned it, because this year he's going to be almost certainly going to be the runner-up this year, but that he's out of title contention now. It's just between them 2 for the championship. So it's almost certain that it will be Martin second in the championship. So to have the 1-2 in red is great. It looks fantastic for Ducati, their shareholders. It looks fantastic for the sport to see 1-2 in the championship in the same team, the same colours. But again, it's just like not really fair on Enea, who's had a terrible year and hasn't really had the chance to show where he's at.
Yeah, and I suppose it's conflicting what you hear and who you hear it from as to
Yeah.
what's going on inside the team. There has to have been conversations about it because, we know that obviously they're not going to stop Jorge Martin from winning the championship. Like, if he wins it fair and square, he's going to win it. But there is a high chance that there's been a conversation had of, if he wins it, that we're going to do this swap and put both, the 1-2 in the championship from this year on the factory seats next year, which would make sense, but it would be very unfair for Enea Bastianini, although he would still be on a current spec bike. So I suppose there's maybe something in there in contracts, I don't know, but I think Enea deserves at least another full year in the factory squad to see whether or not he's cut out for it. I think this year has been a complete write-off. Whereas, Jorge Martin, it's all good saying that he deserves it now, but what if he's to get it and next year something happens to him or he gets
the thing that happened last year.
Yeah.
Where last year was inconsistent.
He just... Exactly, which could happen to anyone, because look at the likes of Ayagura, who was so close to winning the championship in Moto2 last year and now isn't even in the title fight. So you don't know when you're going to be back up at the front again, and it's quite bold to assume that if Jorge Martin wins it this year, that he's going to be winning it again next year or being up there next year. Even though I don't say that, but you never know in motorbike racing.
Yeah, motorbike racing is so... It's like with the predictions this year, we're like, oh yeah, this rider's surely going to be on the podium. Like, you look at David Alonso and you're like, yeah, he'll surely be on the podium this weekend. Me and Cameron put him to win. He's done so well the last few rounds, and then he doesn't even make it past the opening few laps because he crashes out of the race.
Exactly.
And it's just unpredictability of motorcycle racing. No one could have predicted Fermin Alligator doing the nuts things he's doing at the moment and winning pretty much every race. And the fact that Luca Marini's coming out and maybe going to Repsol, and that's just motorbike racing for you, isn't it? It's so unpredictable. But it's like, Enea Bastianini last year, we even said it earlier this year, it's going to be a 1-2. It's going to be them two to the end of the championship. I can't see anybody else getting anywhere near them. And then Enea, flipping sprint race, opening sprint race of the year, gets injured. Bash. Whole entire season is just thrown out the window, really.
Yeah, motorsport likes to make its fans look like idiots anytime they try and predict anything.
Yep.
The motorsport gods are looking down at us, laughing constantly, of like, you idiots. Like, you think you knew it,
I can't
but
believe you
you
thought
don't.
that.
Yeah, literally.
Wild. But yeah, it's interesting, and I'm excited to see how it plays out, to be honest, because Martin looks good. He's only dropped 1 point to Bagnaia this weekend, which isn't horrendous. Obviously,
No,
Alex Marquez decided to come and play game. Was it 1 point or 11? Were they 11 into the weekend or 13? I can't remember.
I think it was 13 into the weekend, and then the sprint race meant that it was then 11. But then coming out of it's 14 now because Pecco was third and Martin was fourth. So
he's technically only dropped 1 point over the weekend. So realistically, that's not too bad. With 37 times 2. Is 76, is that? I'm just going to actually do the actual math.
74.
Yeah, there you go. 74 points on the table. Yeah, all it takes is one mistake from one of those riders, and it's a massive jump. And the thing is, if you win a main race, no matter where the person behind you finishes, even if it's Bagnaia, you gain 5 points on them instantly.
Yeah.
So if Martin picks out another win before the end of the year, that championship gap will be closed by 5 points regardless.
Yeah.
And at Qatar, where he's very good.
Well, the last time we were at Qatar, Pecco Bagnaia took out Jorge Martin, which I know is like a year and a half ago, but cast your minds back, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that was spicy. So
that was.
They're going to have beef with each other.
And you got to think as well, Enea Bastianini won at Qatar last year. His only objective by Ducati will be beat Martin. That's it, really. Beat Martin. Stop Martin winning the race. Because if Martin wins the race, like I said, he gains 5 points, regardless. So if Enea can be there, it's damage limitation. Even if Martin's second and Bagnaya's third, it's now 4 points. And with the margins this close, as we saw in BSB this year, you can win a championship by half a point. So every point at this stage of the season matters. And I'm very intrigued as well how the games are going to play with Ducati, because as we saw in the sprint race, Enea was all over Bagnaia. Enea well and truly could have taken third place from Bagnaia, but he didn't. He did his job. He sat behind his teammate and ensured his teammate got a few extra points, a few more points that helped him in his championship fight. Because if Enea had overtaken Bagnaia, we could be talking about maybe an 11-point deficit now, and Martin has gained.
Yeah, I don't think there's team orders as such, which is such a... I hate talking about it because we talked about it last year too, at this point in the championship. I don't think there is team orders as such, but I think in that situation, Enea Bastianini's going, I don't want to make a silly move here on my teammate or get tangled up or do something and we both crash out, we both don't score points, whatever it is. You know, you have to be very, very confident that you're going to make a clean overtake, and that's probably why he didn't. Plus, it's not his championship to get involved in. You know, if he was, say, 17 points back, you know, and still involved in it, and he was going for it, he 100% would have made... Yeah, he would have made the move, but that's why he, come race day on Sunday, just was last on the brakes and went, you know what, I'm going to check out and not be involved in this, and I'm going to go out and win the race, and then I don't have to worry about where my teammate finishes. So I mean, it's smart from him. There's not exactly team orders, but there's a way to sort of help each other out. I think he did.
Yeah, he definitely did him a favour there. And at the end of the day, Enea, with all these rumours of Enea and Martin swapping places, if Enea can do his best to stay in the good books at Ducati, then...
Well, yeah, because if Enea can... If he can win the next 2 races and say Pecco's second or third and Martin's say third or fourth and finishes behind Pecco, stopping Martin from winning the races is going to be Ducati's main priority, and it doesn't matter if it's Pecco or Enea doing that. So yeah, it doesn't matter at all, does it?
No. But onto some different talk. We're talking about seat swapping. There's a lot of talk at the moment about Mr. Luca Marini moving to the Repsol Honda squad.
It has to be happening.
Well, did you hear what Carlo Pernat said?
No.
I'm not sure if I put it in the chat, so this might be news to you. I'm going to try and find the message quickly, and if I can't find the next 10 seconds, then I'll just go from memory. Got it. Right, so Pernat has said that Luca Marini, obviously this is Pernat, so... Yeah, he was the one who also said that Arbolino would be racing for Gresini next year. Obviously, that's not happened. And then he also said that Arbolino would be racing for Repsol Honda. That's not happening. So, Pernat has said that Luca Marini is no longer training with the Academy boys and that he's been wanting to get away from the VR46 team for some time, and he has jumped at the chance to go to Repsol Honda. Apparently this has caused displeasure in the Academy boys and can be seen by Bezzecchi's face after asking him a question about the possibility of not seeing Luca Marini as a box mate, I assume they mean teammate, anymore. A Pesaro newspaper has also revealed that Marini no longer lives in Tavulia in the house owned by Valentino.
I mean, I don't want to speculate what's going on in his personal life. The man did get married this year.
Yeah, like if he wants to move out, move out, bro.
He's not attached to his brother's hip.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one that if that is true, that he's then deciding that's why he's then deciding to maybe move out of the VR46 supported team into Repsol Honda, which is like the enemy, if anything. And Valentino Rossi himself posted a little photo on Instagram the other day of him back when he was in the Repsol colours as well.
Yeah, but it was like 20 years since he'd won the championship on that bike, which I was going, Yeah, it's coincidental timing, but then the official VR46, like, I don't know if it's a fan page, whatever it is, on
Is
Twitter,
it
was
Box
posting pictures.
46?
Yeah,
Is
Box
it the
46.
It's a
Yeah.
fan page, yeah.
Yeah, but they were posting pictures of Luca Marini and Repsol
Yeah.
Leathers, which everyone was tweeting about today too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to speculate that it's like a falling out and that he wants to get rid of like being part of the academy. I never even thought of anything along those lines. I simply just thought it was a he wants to be that rider to make the Repsol Honda work. There has to be riders on the grid that are sort of sitting there going, oh, do you know what, give me a chance on that, and I probably could, but have contracts, don't want to buy themselves out, or waiting around for it. Like, there has to be riders that are going, I can be the one that can fix these problems, because think if you do, how much of a legend you're going to be if you can turn or help
The
turn
Repsol
Repsol Honda
Honda.
around.
Yeah, because
So
he said he wants to build a bike around himself. Because he's riding the Ducati, which is the best bike. But he wants a bike built around his riding style. And as a factory rider, you get that opportunity.
and I think as well, we're hearing this more now from more Ducati riders about wanting to have a bike that's more around you rather than just a whole, like a user friendly. We'll stick 8 riders on it and just, yep, you have to ride that. Fabio Di Giannantonio only a couple of weeks ago made some drastic changes, and all of a sudden he's up on the podium and having some of the best results of his life. And now we're hearing similar from Luca Marini. Like, maybe it's sort of going to hinder Ducati a bit that people want to make changes or maybe want to do something slightly different that could help them win races, and Ducati are maybe saying no because they want Pecco obviously to be the one, or Enea if he was up there and fit. They want their factory team to be the ones winning the championship and dominating, and then they want the rest of their guys podiums, top fives, top tens. And if everyone can change the bike to the way that they want it, then that would hinder the factory team being on top.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
I speculate that a bit better than personal stuff
Yeah,
being the
I think
answer
so.
to it.
Because I think maybe for Luca Marini as well, it's a case of getting out of Rossi's shadow as well. I think he's very safe and comfortable in that environment of his brother's team, and everyone always goes, oh, he's Rossi's brother, and Alex Marquez has kind of just gone, yeah, whatever, like, and just kind of dealt with it a little bit.
But he's
and
had
accepted it.
But he's had that luck of now that Mark's followed him to Ducati, and now it's like, whoa, Mark's going to join his brother Alex, and people are going, following in Alex's footsteps. So he's managed to sort of brush that off a little bit, and especially with his performances this weekend, I'm sure Mark's rubbing his hands together.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's an interesting one. And then there's the rumours that his replacement, Marini's replacement, will be Fermin Aldeguer.
Seems random.
I get because he's done quite well, and like I keep saying about the fact that he might finish third in the championship, and the fact that he's now only 20 points behind Jake Dixon. If he outscores Jake in the next 2 Grand Prix by 10 points a race, which is, we did it just the weekend just gone, he could easily finish third in the championship. If he wins the last 2 races, he could finish third in the championship quite easily. But his contract with Bosco Scuro is very watertight. It's very hard for him to get out of. I don't know what the terms are, but there's a rumour that, again, it's a rumour, take it with a pinch of salt, please, for the love of God, that Alonso Lopez won't retain his seat for next year, which means that Luca Bosco Scuro might want to keep Fermin at least for some continuity.
Yeah.
I've just seen Swinksy actually on Twitter post a photo of Digia back on the speed up, and I was like, oh, she said about the triangle, because they can all just swap around a little bit and move around.
I don't know about that.
I did hear something else about the fact that if Fermin can't get out of his contract and go to MotoGP, that it could be Digia that takes that seat, the Mooney VR46 squad, which I wouldn't be mad about.
No, to be fair, it makes more sense Digia going, because he's already in MotoGP and he's the only one without a a ride at this point.
I can't believe he's not got a seat.
I know, it's wild. When you throw Marc Marquez in the mix, deciding to, go against the grain, obviously it's gonna upset a few people on the grid. But yeah, Didier going to the VR46 team makes more sense in my head. I just think, Italian
he trains at the ranch sometimes.
Rides a very similar bike. Obviously, it would just be a step across,
Yeah.
And he's proven that he can ride it. So that makes sense. For me, yes, because of the talent, and obviously he's been linked to the Repsol Honda ride, and he's been linked to MotoGP ever since he came into Moto2, since he's been like 15, 16 years old. Like, Firmin's path to MotoGP is going to happen. I just don't think this is the way that it's going to happen.
No, and that's okay. He's still 19.
Yeah, he's only 18.
Is he 18? Well, there you
go. So, yeah, I as much as I would love to see him in MotoGP, I just don't think that it's his time to go yet. I think his performances this year have been unbelievable, but imagine he could go out and win the championship in Moto2 next year, similar to Pedro Acosta. Then you open everyone's doors, and you're going to have everyone on the phone, rather than maybe one seat in MotoGP. You could open the doors next year to literally every single team that you wanted next year.
Yeah, exactly. When all the contracts are up, like you've mentioned, like why have a chance at everyone? Why wait? No, just wait next year and have a chance at everybody, and have a chance at and with maybe a world championship in your back pocket as well.
Exactly, which would help. Which I know is a bit hypocritical, because obviously the likes of Aaron Canet, Joe Roberts, all had opportunities, didn't take them, and now we're going, why did they not take that MotoGP opportunity? I think with Firmin, what he showed us is a little step up. So, I don't know, if he fully believes that he could step on the bike and make it work and can get out of his contract, then why not? But, he's 18 years old. You've got to think about it. I know.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Joe Roberts and Canet, like, they had their chances, but they weren't performing anywhere near as well as Firmin is at the moment, and don't have anywhere near the CV that Firmin has, because obviously Canet has won multiple races in Moto3, and Canet would be a great candidate if you include that. But then in Moto2, it's not really kind of translated as well as it has for Firmin, who's gone and nearly did a perfect season in the FIM CV, and then came over to the World Championship, was pole position as a rookie. And then I think he's the youngest ever. He's either the youngest ever or second youngest ever after Lorenzo pole setter. Can't remember which way it was.
Oh yeah, then, I remember it though, but
yeah,
clearly not well enough to know which way it was.
Yeah, and he's performing. It's not like he's doing okay here, there, and everywhere. Like, Robert's got a few podiums, and then people are like, Aprilia are doing it. Whereas Firmin's winning races against Pedro Acosta on a speed up.
Yeah,
it speaks for itself, I think.
Yeah, so I think he's got the luxury that maybe those other riders didn't have. I just don't want to sound like a hypocrite when I'm saying, he should wait, because I know we've had loads of conversations about other riders who should have jumped at the now missed opportunities. But with Firmin, I think he's lucky that he's 18 and he's sort of got the powers in his hands, which is a good place to be.
Yeah, it definitely is. It absolutely is. Another thing I want to talk about with contracts is, unfortunately, Rory Skinner. I've just seen Dave, as well as from Off Track podcast. He did just a tweet then as well. Basically, the rumours are flying around over the weekend at Sepang, but Rory Skinner, his contract, halfway through his contract, he has been let go by American Racing and replaced by Marcos Ramirez, which I get both sides. Marcos Ramirez just got a podium. He brings money to the team as well. He gets the results. He's been doing really well this year since he hopped back on that Calex. And for a business sense, it makes sense because Rory was at the back. Sean Dillon Kelly was at the back. But in the same way, morally, it's just wrong to boot SDK out halfway through his contract, boot SDK out as a rookie after 15 Grand Prix. He's been injured after some of them. And it just shows everything that's wrong with the sport when riders can't retain a seat just because of results, when you've dragged them from a national championship into a world championship and expecting them to perform as well as the rest of them. It's just not right, and unfortunately it is the people who run the American racing team. It's very typical of these people, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think people need to remember that it's not the whole team. This is a conversation me and you obviously had before we started recording. Like, this comes down to, like one team boss or whoever makes those decisions. It's maybe one or two people.
It's fully only the team boss.
Yeah, has sat down and made that decision. Because they'd been involved in controversy earlier this year, I was naive enough to think that they wouldn't do it again. Just knowing that, obviously John Hopkins as well, being the racing director of the team, I think his title is, and how he sort of campaigned to get Rory brought into this championship, I again was very naive in thinking that was enough security for him, and the fact that he had a signed contract, which apparently means nothing in Moto2. Yeah, we were all naive in thinking that when I heard these rumours that he was going to be safe, I'm thinking, do you know what, in his rookie season, after everything he's been dealt out in his rookie season, he deserves another year at it. And yeah, not even 24 hours later, we're now hearing that Marcos is getting the seat. And I don't want to sound sour, because I fully think that Marcos deserves a seat in the Moto2 grid next year. But when you'd already signed Joe Roberts and you have Rory Skinner on a 2-year contract, it's just not fair at all.
Yeah,
and I think there's plenty of teams out there. We've talked about the fact that there might be seats at the likes of Speed Up. Marcos is literally putting in podium finishes. The doors are going to be open a little bit more for Marcos, whereas with Rory, the doors aren't going to be open because he is at the back of the grid, because he's still learning. So I think, yeah, it's just really annoying to see that, again, a rookie has just been completely shafted. I hope that he gets another seat. I struggle to see how and where that's going to happen. And
unless Dorna step in, I can't see it.
Yeah, and you're just going, that's a rider's career. Not ruined. It's not that dramatic, but there's potential that it could be, because where's he going to go? You look back at BSB and there's so many seats there all confirmed, and it makes it very difficult for a rider. 2 races to go in a season.
This late in the season, yeah.
Yeah, all the rest of the championships are tied up, and you're going, oh, well, actually, you're out, even though we told you had security for next year.
And you know what the worst part about it all is? The fact that the team signed Marcos Ramirez for next year before telling Rory he was out of the seat. Like, where are your morals?
It's just, it is so annoying. And it's just because they've been involved in controversy already this year with Sean Dillon Kelly. And obviously we don't know exactly how both scenarios have gone down when you open yourself up like that, in kicking 2 riders out halfway through their contracts. You have to expect that you're going to get hate back, which I know people shouldn't do. I want to make that very clear, and you made it clear in your post too, that people should not be leaving really, really horrible comments about the team and stuff like that.
Because at the end of the day, it's not the social media manager's fault.
No.
If you want to get anybody, go at Bloomin' Eaton Bitbull, the team manager, who has made the decision. Don't go at, Matt and Josie who run the social media accounts, because it's not their fault.
Yeah, and they're just doing their job, which is to put out a press release. Which has been worded very well, and I'm sure they'll address everything that needs to be addressed in the coming days. I thought that they handled the situation with Sean Dillon Kelly well, from a press point of view, and their job of running the social medias. They did exactly what they had to do, so they're going to do the same again. And it's not the admin's fault, or any mechanic or anyone who works within the team. It's not their fault that this has happened.
No, exactly. And
or Marcos as well.
Yeah, or Marcos's fault. It's not his fault. I do think it's not funny as such, but it is quite. You go on about the butterfly effect. Sean Dillon Kelly getting his little arm pump problem has led to Rory and Sean Dillon Kelly both losing their seats. Because if he had never had the arm pump and gone for that operation, he would never have been replaced by Marcos Ramirez, and then never had the issue of, I don't know if I can talk about it. Have I talked about it before? I'm not sure. But the issue that meant that Sean couldn't come back, I'll word it as.
Yeah.
And then never had the issue of then Rory getting kicked out because they were like, oh, Marcos Ramirez is actually doing quite well. Just because Sean had an arm bump.
Do you know what?
Caused two riders to get kicked out.
For Marcos, I'm
Mad.
chuffed because when he came into the team, it was very much of...
He deserves to see.
Fully, and he sort of... That's why they brought him in, because he said, look, I'm going to give you guys results. And they went, okay. And it was initially a bit sketchy at the start.
Yeah.
I say sketchy, but I mean, he literally only jumped on the bike, and then, what's this, within sort of 6-7 races? Maybe more than that now. He's completely turned the bike around and showed that it has potential. So yeah, when you look at it from Marcos's perspective, I'm going, that's great. I'm so glad you've got something for next year because you fully deserve it. He's been racing so well this year, all things considered, because you have to imagine he's swapped bikes. He's come into American racing team with big talk and expectations on his shoulders, and he's answered every single one of them. Every single doubt has now been silenced.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's nuts, isn't it? And it's just the bad thing about the sport, isn't it? Like, it's just the worst part about the sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I hate that we have to talk about it.
Yeah, me too. And it's not fair on the riders. Because like you said, it's so late in the season. Rory has probably already been like, well, I'm racing in next year in Moto2, so why would I even think about talking to other teams for a contract? Because I'm signed up for next year. And then all of a sudden it's like, I think it was at Sepang, maybe a bit earlier, that they were like, oh yeah, by the way, you're out of the squad. And he's like, great, so he's now going to try and find a seat somewhere. It's ruining riders' career. Like, Sean Delicatte's had some opportunities. Max Toth was very lucky to get an AGR test and will now race for AGR next year in the Junior GP Moto2 class. But Sean, no idea what he's going to do next year. Rory, no idea, because it's so late in the season. It's just, yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, and yeah, it's the not pretty side of motorsport, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, I'm really annoyed that all these crazy rumours this year, even the bad ones like this, have all come true, because it takes away from the racing, which I know wasn't the most exciting this weekend, but I hate that it's what we have to talk about rather than what's happened on track.
Yeah, it is a shame, isn't it? It is sad. I'm trying to keep this podcast a bit short, by the way. So we're going to go into some more information. Firstly, the fact that Marc Marquez has had matched Darren Binder's record of 27 crashes in a season, which is mental.
Did he not
set a new personal record?
Did he not say that he had to set some sort of record this season?
Yeah, he did, which was quite funny. Repsol Honda had 50 crashes. 27 for Mark, 23 for Mir. Like, if anybody needs proof that that bike is unrideable, that's your proof.
Do you know who else has had 23 crashes?
Who?
Aaron Canet.
Oh, that shocks me, actually.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I can't remember
Alicia Spargo with 4 on Friday has probably gone in for that record as well.
Up there now, yeah.
God damn.
David Alonso too.
He's had a lot of crashes this year, to be fair. And yeah, Aussie as well, Icola Corona performing better than Bautista. I believe Bautista was injured.
I am annoyed about this one, actually. Okay. Because, one, he made us look silly. Because at least I only said top 10. You said top 5.
Top 5. Idiot.
We look like the dumbest people on earth. Maybe we should stop podcasting because we clearly know nothing.
Yeah.
And then number 2, he doesn't say anything all weekend and then comes out after the race is over and goes, oh, I can finally say that I actually was struggling with an injury all weekend. And it's like, why would you not just start the weekend by telling everyone that you had an injury and then we wouldn't have any expectations?
Yeah. exactly. But our expectations were high because he's a World Superbike champion, of course. It's unlucky that he got injured at the Jerez test. Maybe it's an excuse. Maybe you wouldn't have said it at all if he was 5th place.
I don't want to say it is an excuse, but it's really annoyed me.
Yeah, and the fact that Lecrona was ahead of him, considering that Bautista was showing top 5 pace at the Misano test as well.
Yep.
It's weird. It is weird how bad he was. I say bad. He'd murk obviously all of Oslo on a motorbike, and he's still a 3-time world champion. But the fact that Lecrona beat him.
Yep, who's nowhere near him in World Superbikes.
Yeah, it's if anything, it shows the incredible talent that Lecrona shows or possesses to beat him on a shitty Honda and beat a Ducati that's the best GP23 as well. Just shows really how good Lecrona is as well. But yeah, it's just nuts to see him that far back.
It annoyed me because how many times am I going to say it annoyed me? I think as well because he had so much hype around him coming into this weekend. Like, we have talked about Bautista racing at Malaysia like since it's been announced. You know, we've dropped it into how many podcast episodes in the run up to it. So it's just disappointing that it's another weekend of sort of going, the on-track action wasn't great. Yeah. We have to talk about sort of mind games and contract talks to sort of bulk up what's actually happened on track. And I think Bautista not showing exactly what he maybe could have it adds that, and it's really it's not good.
Yeah, it's really not good at all.
I was going to say annoying again. Take a shot every time I say I'm annoyed.
Moving on as well to the greatest rider of all time, being crowned the Moto2 World Champion.
It's a really good thing that happened this weekend.
Yeah, really. Well, it's like it was always going to happen really for Pedro, but it's like insane to think that a rider has come in and won 2 world titles in 3 seasons. And they were like, on the thing, I don't know if you saw the official celebration, they were like, a rough year for last year. A difficult year. Yeah, I'm like, bro, he was a rookie. He won races. He broke his leg. And he still finished 5th overall and won races. Like, what?
I was like,
if that's a difficult year, then bloody hell.
Yeah, I don't want to see it any worse than that if that's a difficult year.
God, yeah. But yeah, he's the first rider to win the Red Bull Rookies Moto3 World Championship and the Moto2 World Championship as well. He's very much a KTM and Red Bull man these days. Pretty much cut him open and he bleeds orange, well, red next year. But
he has to have an Aki tattoo on him somewhere.
Yeah, surely. It's just, and the fact that now the IO Moto2 squad are 3-time consecutive Moto2 champions as well is crazy.
Call it now, Dennis Onchi will win it next year. I
was going to say, like, can we see Vietti or Onchi win it next year?
Oh my god, I forgot Vietti. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm like, can they win it next year? I'm not sure. Thing is, I want to say about Vietti as well. It kind of sucks that Vietti's at that lull in form, because he would have surely been a mark-in for that Mooney VR46 seat if Marini was to leave.
Yeah, 100%.
But he's not performing.
Well, it's still got Manayo seat, so...
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I mean, can't complain with that.
Yeah, it's literally the best seat in Moto2, so...
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then in Moto3, Alonso caused a bit of chaos.
Yeah, Danny Holgado, I don't know, he'll be very friendly with him after that.
No, I don't think so, yeah. Yeah, for Sato as well. It's a big shame, and obviously Rossi. It does mean that Holgado and Alonso are 41 points back. They're not fully out of it, but they're kind of out of it.
Yeah,
they do have next year in Moto3, but...
Yeah, it would mean crashes from Masia and Sasaki in the next 2 races, and I don't see it happening somehow.
No, I don't. I think it's going to be between them two of the championship now. Sasaki as well wasn't too happy with Via. I mean, fair play to Via for winning his first Moto3 race as a rookie.
Yep.
Very impressive, very impressive. But I can see why Sasaki would have been annoyed, because firstly, Sasaki hasn't scored a blooming win all year long. And that is 13 points back. He would have been 8 points back if he'd won that race.
What's your opinion on it, though? Do you think that VAR should have let him win the race?
No, it's bloody racing.
Thank
It's
God.
racing.
Okay. You had me worried there for a second.
No, it's racing. You're there. May the best man or woman win. If you're not winning the race, it's your own fault.
What's that Senna quote? It's like, if you don't go for a gap.
If you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the case with Colin Varr. I mean, the lad's 18 years old. He's in a position where he can get his first Grand Prix win, and you're telling me, they're telling me that Ayumu Sasaki is in his after race interview saying that he looked up to the TV, saw his teammate was behind him, and thought, "Oh, I have nothing to worry about here." Are you mad?
Are you nuts? This is Moto3, bro. It's every man or woman for themselves.
And like, if you saw Dennis Onshu, imagine Dennis Onshu was in third place, but your teammate was still in second. You think Dennis Onshu's not going to make that move on your teammate and then make the exact same one on you?
Yeah. Like, they're not going to have team orders.
Well, I'm wondering now if there's been a conversation. Because the team didn't look exactly ecstatic with Colin winning the race.
No, they didn't. It was a bit weird. But, it would have been 8 points between them, and now it's only 13. But it's only 13 points. All it takes is Sasaki to win a race and Mazia to finish third, and there's a 9-point gap in there. That's all it takes. It takes nothing.
But that's the key. He hasn't won a race this year, and I can't see him winning the championship without him winning a race. I've been badgering on about it for so many weeks now.
Yeah, and that Thailand crash and DNF there as well, and the terrible race at Indonesia really have screwed him. If there's anything to look at, it's them two, not your teammate winning his first Grand Prix. That stunned me a bit, to think that there's the possibility of team orders in Moto3. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird.
But then go ahead.
No, Karen.
I was just going to say, on the flip side, if there hasn't been a conversation and Sasaki just automatically thought that his teammate was going to sit behind him, that's another weird one.
That would be very weird.
Like, he's just assumed.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm going to win championships, so why aren't you doing that? Yeah. Weird. I just realised as well, the first Honda in the championship is 12th in Moto3. That's nuts.
The second?
Wait, oh yeah, I forgot the bloody
Messias
on the Honda.
Is leading it.
Well done, Declan.
Gosh.
Big brain time. Jesus Christ. Flipping heck. Right, we'll probably go on to the predictions then after that malarkey.
Yeah, I think people are going to swiftly unfollow this podcast if we keep going on.
Well, if I keep going on. But I'm going to quickly run through Sepang and then we'll do Qatar. I've already got yours and Cameron's, so that saves some time.
Yep.
So, Sepang. Going into it, I lead with 299, Cameron second, 292, Lauren with 182 in third. So, Moto3, it was Mazia pole. I went Onshu, Cameron went Sasaki, Lauren Munoz. In the race, it was Via, Sasaki, Mazia. I went Alonso, Sasaki, Mazia, so I get 10 points. Cameron went Alonso, Mazia, Sasaki, so he gets 2 points.
Oh!
Because he picked the wrong order. And Lauren went Mazia, Holgado, Alonso, so you get a point.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, in Moto2, Aldeguer got pole. Me and Cameron went Acosta pole, Lauren Canet. In the race, it was Aldeguer, Acosta, Ramirez. I went Acosta, Gonzalez, Dixon, 1 point. Cameron went Acosta, Canet, Aldeguer, so he gets 2 points. And you went Acosta, Arbolino, Gonzalez, so you get a point.
Mm.
In MotoGP, Bagnaia got pole, and me and Cameron went Martin, Lauren Bezecchi. In the sprint race, it was Alex Marquez who won. We went Martin. And in the main race, it was Bastianini, Marquez, and Bagnaia. I went Martin, Bagnaia, Binder, so I get a point. Cameron went Bezecchi, Martin, Bagnaia. You went Martin, Bezecchi, Bagnaia, so you also get 5 points along with Cameron.
Ooh.
So leaving Sepang, I lead with 311, Cameron with 301, and you with 189.
I think we should stop reading my points out at this point.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Is there any need?
So, with these predictions, do you want to change yours at all, or are you okay?
Let me get them back up again, because shock. I thought about them this week, and
Wow, that is a
I
shock.
know. Let me see. No, I want to keep them the same.
Okay, so I'll go through them in a sec. I'm just going to put Cameron's Moto3 ones in, and you can read yours out obviously as we go through. So,
Okay.
Moto3 pole position, I'm going to go for, because I'm the only one who hasn't actually picked anyone yet. I'll go with Sasaki. Cameron's gone Mazia, and who have you gone for?
I'm going to go with Onchu. You do know you can think about this beforehand. I know it's taken me quite a while to realise this, but...
Yeah, but I don't have time. Mondays are crazy for me when we record. I'm like, home, gym, back here, chaos, and then do the podcast. And I just don't, have time.
Yeah, guys, it is 20 past 10 as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Which may be why it's been a bit delirious.
Yeah, but it's always lots of charm, isn't it? So, third in Moto3, I'm going to go for Onshu. Cameron's gone Mazia, and you're going to go for?
I'm also going to go with Messia.
Nice, okay. So, in second place, I'm going to go for Mazia. Cameron's gone Via, and you're going to go for?
Danny Holgado.
Oh, Holgado, okay. And for the win, I'm going to go with Sasaki. Cameron's gone Sasaki. You're going to go for?
I'm going to go with David Alonso.
Oh, nice. I like that one, to be fair. It's a good one. That's a good one. So, me and Cameron are going to go the same pole position in Moto2 of Fermin Aldeguer.
A solid choice, yeah.
And you're going with?
I'm going to go with Jake Dixon.
Oh, that's a wild card.
I don't know why. I don't know. I think actually I was scrolling through Instagram at the time. I was thinking about it and seeing a picture of him. I was like, yep.
You're like, yes,
That'll do.
Yeah, do you see Danny Buchan joined him at the weekend as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Danny Buchan and Jake. I remember when they were in BSB together and they were like besties, and then Fabio took over Jake and Danny was like, oh.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
Needs his friend back.
He does. So, third place in Moto2, I'm going to go for Gonzalez because he got robbed this weekend.
Oh. That's
Gutting,
annoying.
really.
I know.
Yeah. Cameron went Aldeguer, and you're going to go for?
I'm going to go with Jake Dixon.
He loves that third place, Dixon.
He does, yeah.
He does indeed. So, second place, I'm going to go with Canet. No, not Canet. Oh, I've already said it, haven't I? Can I change it?
What were you going to change it to?
Acosta.
No, you can't change it.
Okay, Canet. Okay. Cameron's going Acosta, and you're going to go for?
I'm going to go for Fermin Aldeguer.
Nice. To be fair, Canet in second place isn't exactly the worst choice in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate, yeah, to be fair, if you go on statistics. So for the win, I'm going to go Aldeguer. Cameron's gone Canet, which is quite controversial.
Yeah, because he called me out for having Dixon for pole. Yeah. And I was like, sorry, you can it for the win. I don't know who's more out there.
You good, bro?
Literally. I'm going to go with Pedro for the win.
Nice. Freshly crowned champion. So, MotoGP pole. I'm going to go with Martin because he'll do quite well, I think.
Yes, I've also gone Martin pole.
Nice. And Cameron has gone Bagnaia. Sprint race win. I'm going to go Martin again. Cameron has gone for Martin, and you're going to go for?
Martin.
Jesus Christ. Wow, we're so original, aren't
Yikes.
we? Wow, jeez. Yeah. Well, Cameron has gone for his typical Brad Binder in third place for the main race.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I'm going to change mine then.
Okay. Wait, who did you give? You went for Binder as well. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to change it.
I'm going to go for...
That might be a stupid mistake, but...
I'm going to go with Bagnaia in third. Who are you going for?
I'm now changing it to Fabio Quartararo.
Oh, okay. The longest straight of the year? Or one of?
Yamaha's won it.
True.
Before.
Good point.
Bastianini winning it last year, but before that it's been Yamaha's. So
that is a good point. Good point. So second place, I've gone with Bastianini to beat Bagnaia.
yeah, yeah.
Cameron's gone for Martin. Who are you going for?
I've also gone for Bastianini.
For goodness sake.
Well, I just think it will be I'm hoping it's a return to form.
Yeah,
and
me
obviously
too.
he's won there before. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it makes
I
sense.
think yeah, it does make sense. Like logically, it does make sense. Okay, and for the win, I've gone Martin. Cameron's gone Bastianini, and you're gonna go for
Martin.
Nice. Okay.
He's gonna do it
So
all. Yeah, he's taking the
you've
37.
yeah, you've not even put him on the podium. You've not even put Bagnaia on the podium.
No. I think both of them have mistakes left in them.
Yeah, I do too.
But
I genuinely do.
I'm going with that fourth place last weekend was Jorge Martin's mistake.
Yeah, it's a fluke, I think.
Because I think tyre pressures played into it. I think he was worried.
And now Bagnaia's got tyre pressures.
Yeah. I think he was worried. I think he knew he had to stay back off of Bagnaia once he knew he couldn't get past him. And, you know, obviously he got tyre pressures the week before in Thailand when they were battling with each other. So he probably knew himself that if he'd stayed in that battle with Bagnaia, he probably would have got another one and received a penalty. So best thing to do is stay where you are in fourth place, not get the 3-second penalty, because that means then if he was to get another penalty before the end of the season, he'd be disqualified from the race. And you don't want that to decide the championship. So
no. Thing is, with these tyre pressures, it's just MotoGP's way of ruining the racing even further.
Yeah,
you could have had a great battle.
Literally, but I think that's, in my head anyway, that's what I'm putting down to Jorge Martin not fighting with Pecco.
Yeah, and now Pecco has now got to worry about it, because he said he was going to play the Joker at Qatar and just decimate Martin there, but now he can't. Because basically Pecco was going to play the Joker and maybe get a warning at Qatar with only one round left for tyre pressures, but now he can't. He's on equal terms with Martin. So it's going to be very interesting.
Shot himself in the foot. I just, you know, there's 5 riders on the grid now that it's going to affect, or full-time riders,
Marini,
I should say, because
Marini's
I know Batista got one and Lucona got one, so that's not really going to affect things, but there's, I think that leaves 5 riders then that could really affect the outcome.
Yeah. Well, Lucrona's racing this weekend as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not going to affect the outcome of the race.
No, it's not. No.
But say, you know, if Elise or Luca Marini or Bastianini or now Bagnaia Martin, if Vinales as well is on one, you know, if any of them are up there within the top 5 and get a penalty, that's going to change the outcome of the race and it'll affect one rider well and the other rider not very well in terms of the championship. So
yeah, it's very interesting to see how it plays out.
It's annoying, but I hope
it is annoying.
Well, when you look at it, there's not that many riders on the grid that have got them. So what is everyone else doing to not get pushing penalties?
Maybe not pushing as hard, or it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get it, but maybe I can't wrap my head around tyre pressures anyway, so maybe that's why.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Shouldn't I have said, let's do a half an hour podcast, and we're now 54 minutes in.
Well, there was still quite a lot to talk about, in fairness.
Yeah, there was, to be fair.
And that Rory Skinner news did just get announced right before we sat down to record, so I feel like, you know.
Yeah, that definitely threw a spanner in the works, shall we say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hope you've enjoyed listening. And I will be back. We will be back next time after Qatar.
Whoa. Have you just sacked me off this podcast?
Wait, what did you say?
You said I will be back, and I was like,
sorry.
This is where we announced it.
Yeah, Lauren's out the way. No,
we are said back. I'll not be back next week.
Yeah, we are back next weekend.
On good times next week. I think the race is at like 5 p.m. or something.
Oh, I can't wait. The amount of sleepless nights over for another year. Thank God.
This flyaway part of the season has been the worst.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh God, so bad. But yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.